And welcome back to the Sports Block, and it's my weekly segment here with the sports editor of the Collegian, Mr. Drue Aman. I'll let you open with the statement, and then we'll get on to questions.
Open with a statement, then
Open
we'll
with the statement, then we'll open it up
Wow.
before for questions.
What do I have to say? Well, it's a beautiful day out. Sun's shining. It's all good. All good here. Question for you before we get into it.
For me,
Where did you get that shirt?
where did I get this shirt? Is that a basketball question? Well,
What, is that like snakeskin or?
I think I got it at Walmart a few months ago.
You did.
It's one of the newer ones in my collection.
Well, that's good. It's very good. That like mustardish sort of.
I didn't know it was this bright. I look like a giant compared to you on the screen right now, to be honest.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
The
Let's move on.
The Jacks played like giants on Thursday, a very impressive win over IUPUI, 81-70. Of course, another double-digit win. That's the only way they can win in Summit League competition, it seems like. And Dale Moss, he did it again with an outstanding highlight dunk, which we are playing right now, which you can see. What did you think when you saw that?
Play.
Alley-oop from right
I
under the
thought
basket.
that was probably the best dunk I've seen him in his career pull off, and he's got some pretty good ones. But that I think is his best, and that absolutely that Moss play was just one play of a series of a little 1 minute spurt there where you had the dunk, you had the turnover, and then you had the Sargent three, and that kind of a scene has been sort of limited at Frost in recent years, where they get so on fire that they're just kind of can't be stopped, and their team has to take a timeout. But that was just a great series for them, and kind of a sample of just how they played overall Thursday. 18-0 runner was in that second half. Put this game away. And Nate Walters, he had an outstanding game again, 21 and 11. Yeah.
Abused Alex Young on a couple plays.
That was another highlight play. Yeah. It was a game really where it was kind of over with 8-10 minutes left. They got up to I think it was about 24-25 at one point, and that was their highest lead. The IUPUI kind of dwindled it down, but nothing near where the outcome was in jeopardy. They played that well. Walters was a big reason for that, but I think up and down you got just great productivity just from everybody involved. Walters doesn't get those 11 assists without guys like Clint Sargent shooting as well as he did. Yes. I think he had 5 threes, I think it was 5. But so it was a great performance for them. They've had a few of those in Frost this year. Was it 7?
Yeah, it's 7. Yeah, 7 of 11.
Okay, I thought it was a lot. I think that was almost a team record.
He backed up his performance at Centenary, breaking the all-time school record.
Yeah,
quite nicely.
Yeah, not surprising. He's just been a great shooter his whole career. So, it was a great win for them and a great performance. They've had a few of those this year. They've had some disappointing ones, but certainly some really impressive ones as well.
Then on Saturday, they beat Western Illinois again convincingly, 82-61. Western Illinois, not much of an offensive team, but the Jacks held them around their season average of 57, giving up 61, put up 82 points. Just a solid effort on both sides of the court. Yeah,
really one of their better homestands probably of the year. They played very well both games, certainly.
And it was senior night. We want to mention that. You had Dale Moss, Peyton Tivis, Clint Sargent.
And I think the cool thing about that was you get these seniors that are honored, and certainly Moss and Sargent were great players, and I know Tivis is very well liked. But it was great to see how these underclassmen, in particular Jordan Dykstra, sort of, the spotlight was on the seniors, but they had great games. I mean, Dykstra had all 20 points in the second half. And then I think the next leading scorer was Griffin Callahan with like 13. So it was really just a team effort, I think, on the offensive end. And as far as defensively, I think they were plus 15 or something on the glass, so they out-rebounded them considerably. And then the free throw shooting, that's another one, I think.
Yes.
Did they break a team record with that? I think they were close.
To break the team record, they had to be perfect.
Okay, well, I think they started out 20 for 20.
If they would have stopped there, it would have been a score record.
And I think Moss missed the only free throw.
He ended up 26 to 27.
Yeah. So, just indicative just kind of how their weekend went. They played really well. And again, I've said before, when they're playing their best, they look like they can compete with anybody in the conference. That includes Oakland. And now, obviously, IUPUI, they beated them convincingly. So.
And something that I just want to say, I think Western Illinois, I want to applaud them for standing up during that senior day or senior game before the game and applauding. I thought that was a class act for them.
I did not observe that.
But they did. They did.
That's a good observation. And I think their head coach, Jim Molinari, does a good job, and he's a good coach, and had some complimentary things to say about just the team and the organization as well. He says Nagy hasn't played at a high level, and I think that's true for the most part.
And moving on to the women now, they also defeated Western Illinois in similar fashion, 65-40. Again, Western Illinois not much at all on the offensive end, but it seems like they've won 5 of 6 now. I think they're starting to peak right at the right time. Tournament time, they're starting to get some girls healthy again. I think you're going to see their best basketball in the next couple weeks.
And now, about 2-3 weeks ago, I was kind of making this notion about, they had such an emphasis on three-point shooting, and they were not shooting well at all. And they kept at it. Now those numbers are starting to turn around. I think they had 9 threes in one of the games recently, and then they even had 14 against Oral Roberts. So that's coming around. I think that's such a key for them. It has been for the past several years. Is very, very proficient three-point shooting. And they've started to get back to that. I know Jill Young in that Oral Roberts loss had, I think it was 6 threes. So again, they thrive on the deep shooting, but then also that's a great compliment to Sonnenberg, who's been outstanding all year, and Katie Lingle has kind of asserted herself as a compliment to Sonnenberg. So, they're getting back to playing well. Are they as talented as Oral Roberts? I don't think so. But then you talk Bigham going down.
We'll touch on that next.
Bigham going down with that ACL injury. That's unfortunate for Oral Roberts, but she's a very, very good player. Was a first-team all-conference selection before the season started.
As a freshman, nonetheless. Yeah.
Well, as a sophomore.
Sophomore last year?
She was a freshman last year.
Yeah, last year she was all Summit League.
That's right. Yeah. So, have they got a chance? Yeah, but at the same time, you look back at the losses they've had. You lose to Oakland at home, you lose to IPFW at home. It's not a gimme that this team's going to make the championship. I think it'll be a much harder run than it was in the previous last year and 2 years before that.
And AJ had mentioned in the press conference a few weeks ago that all but 2 or 3 of their losses have come either in overtime or by a couple points. So they're right there. They're so close to being that second or third seed.
They are right there, yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. But again, none of those matchups. Even NDSU, it's not going to be an easy route to get there. Absolutely, and with Bigham going down, Oral Roberts has faltered in some games this year too. I think it's much more wide open than people are saying it is. I know people had kind of Oral Roberts penciled in, and it's SDSU as well. And I don't think that's the case at all. I definitely could see an IPFW or an Oakland making a run.
And that if you haven't heard that, Chasey Bigham for Oral Roberts on Saturday night. They lose at Southern Utah 101-93. She goes on with an ACL injury. She's done for the rest of the year, one of their 3 best players. And that really changes how I think people will view not only Oral Roberts, but also, teams that play them. I still think it's going to be, depending on the seeding now, because if the Jacks get that 4 or 5 seed, you could have a second-round matchup between Oral and the Jacks.
Absolutely.
And you could have, a different team sneak in that championship.
Right,
spot.
yeah. How it's going to shake out, I really don't know as far as seeding. That'll be, again, that's going to come down to the wire too, because there's a big, mix-up in the middle there. But, again, last year, the Jacks had this, luckily for them, they played their best basketball when they really needed to, and that was in March. And they seem to be turning it around now in the middle of February here. And, you can't underestimate Coach AJ's ability to have his team be ready, and with that home crowd, you can't discredit that at all. They have a chance, they absolutely do.
And coming up, their final kind of road swing of the season here, they play at Oakland and at IPFW. 2 tough games for both the men and the women.
And they've struggled at Oakland year in and year out. In 2008. 2009 when they went 32-3. That was one of their 3 losses. Was at Oakland. So that's a tough place to play for them, and they're a good team. They're a good matchup. And again, with Fort Wayne, with Rosado there on the inside. I can't talk today. It's just a struggle. Hey, whatever. But yeah, Fort Wayne's good. Those will be two tough games for them. Will they get back up to 500? Maybe. Well, I think they'll beat IUPUI.
They're at 500 right now.
They are at 500 right now. So it'll be interesting to see. I think if they play well and lose, I don't think they should be too discouraged about it. But you know, it's a flawed team, absolutely. But they've been playing better.
We're off next week, but in 2 weeks should be our big Summer League Championship show. You'll be down there. You will be live blogging from the Summer League Championships in Sioux Falls?
I'll be there. I'll be doing a whole bunch of things. We're going to try some new things with the Collegian stuff, with the website. So
Video.
It should be great. Are we going to film a show down there?
We will not, no.
Okay.
We could. You want to bring your little flip cam?
Well,
we could do a...
don't say little, man. That's
That's
disparaging. I don't appreciate that.
Okay, so, well, it's not. Oh, well, yeah.
You know, little is a negative term. Let's just put portable.
Very flexible, very durable.
Useful.
Yes. Thanks again for coming, as always.
Kriens, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
It's great being here.
Yes. And then when we return, we will talk some NHL hockey for some reason. Fights, yay or nay, coming up here on the Sports Lounge.